And we're recording, not live.
Wow.
Wow, I've already screwed up.
Somebody sounds like they just came right off of a live stream.
Ugh,
Uh,
I did.
True.
But
Hello.
hello everyone. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it always does.
Yeah,
You
cause
know,
why be consistent?
it's exactly. We're just the duo of boomerangs in slow motion.
What
That
what is that? I don't get the metaphor.
be,
I
because we
I
always because we can always come back with a new video. It just takes a couple months. we're virtual boomerangs in slow motion.
oh god. Yeah, I guess virtual boomerang merch coming soon.
God,
But
I
it's
hope so.
Chris, you want the Hinotama merch? You want the slow boomerang merch?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have my whole line at some point. I'll have my own Gucci line.
Yeah, you will. If there's anyone I think that could get it, it's you.
Oh yeah, it'll happen.
So, hello everyone. It's been a long time. In case you have forgotten, we have name tags. I'm Alex.
I'm Chris.
And
He's
he
the
is
he's
obviously.
he's the blood elf on the right.
Yeah, I'm the blood elf on the right. Only real Blizz Bizz fans get that one.
Yeah, shout out to the real ones that know that.
Um, but we've taken a departure from most of the Blizz bids we had done before. If you watched the last episode, God, probably close to a year ago. Um,
Not even. It was earlier this year.
was it actually?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
It was like March.
my time perception's really bad.
That's fine. But either way, yeah, we've kind of stepped away from just doing exclusively Blizz stuff. Um, I don't think I necessarily feel we need to change the name of the channel or the show or anything like that, because I mean we still want to talk about Blizzard stuff at some point, but a lot of that'll come when like Dragonflight is released.
Oh my
And
god, so excited for that.
yeah, so like the World of Warcraft stuff, whenever that finally shows up, then that a lot of our sessions on here are probably going to be a lot about what's happening in World of Warcraft. But for the most part, we're starting to segue into being more of just a nerd culture channel, uh like video games, tabletop games, card games, just any form of entertainment you can play with your hands. Wait, let me try that again.
Yeah. You use your hands, Chris. Come on, jazz hands.
Yeah, there you go. Jazz
uh,
hands and 20s finger wags.
exactly. So we do have a more unique episode. We've been wanting to do this for a while, as sort of a topic to talk about, and uh, kudos to Chris for coming up with the idea for this. And it's the topic right now is the top 5 games that kind of made us who we are as gamers, and how they've influenced us in that way.
Yeah.
We will have some honorable mentions, and we want to give each other enough time to kind of talk about it and gush about it, because that's also what this is. It's an excuse for us to gush about video games.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, it's everything's an outlet at this point. Um, but it's also a way to kind of uh, I don't what would you say, like get it out there that everybody sort of feels a certain way about specific games,
and
something
and
like
if
that.
and honestly, in the comments, like put in what you want to see or what your favorite games are too, and you want to put 1, you want to put 5, you want to put 26. That's all up to you. It better not be all the Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, well, at least there's 26 of those.
God, I don't even know. I'd
But
probably believe you if you told me there are 26.
it
I know
better
we're
be.
going into Final Fantasy 15, but there's probably 26 Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, it's they might not be in numerical order, but I'm sure there's probably 26 of them
Well, not when
if
we
you
got
count.
13 too.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows the sequel to 13 is 13 2.
That's right. You start going in halves.
Yeah, in all reality, 13.2 is just 13.5.
It is. And then 13.3 is just 13.75.
We all know Lightning Returns is 13.2.2.
I mean, yeah. It truly is the electric boogaloo of the Final Fantasies.
Someday I'll play it. It's not gonna be soon.
Yeah. I
But
won't.
let's just get started. Let's just jump into it, you know?
Oh, you did the meme.
I did the meme.
Let's just
Do
like
you want to
10,
take the lead here?
10 minutes into the video. Let's just jump right into this.
We are 5 minutes into the video.
Sorry, I live in the future.
Yeah, you tell me about it. I know the feeling.
Yeah,
I keep getting McDonald's packs.
it's that third shift life.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that. I'm first shift for life.
Oh,
But would you like to start with the list, or do you want me to?
oh, you can kick it off. Go for it.
So for my number five, since I assume we're doing honorable mentions before number one.
Yes.
So for my number five, I actually put a Punch Out for the Wii.
Wow.
It's kind of a weird choice, and I don't know if you expected that from me.
No, I mean, like I kind of expected that our list is going to be. Oh yeah, like just real quick, we didn't share our list with each other, so these are all going to be completely like blindsiding each other with what games we've all chosen.
And I think
But
that also brings a little bit of joy to it and a little bit of surprise for us.
yeah, I think so. But I mean, I assume that there's going to be a couple of like obvious choices that people are gonna or that we're gonna have on here, but
Oh
that
yeah,
that no
no
one
doubt.
no one would be surprised that we have on our list. But yeah, Punch Out for Wii definitely that threw me off.
Well, so let me explain why. So when going through like all the games that I've played or owned from recent memory, um, there aren't a lot of. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I got the little brother syndrome because of you. I don't have a lot of single player games that I play, and it's really hard for me to attach to those single player games. Um, I was, however, really into mobile gaming for a long time, and mobile gaming has that sort of instant satisfaction thing. Punch Out
Yeah.
for Wii gave me the best of both worlds, and it allowed me to get good at a game. I I I could play Punch Out for so freaking long. I could
Yeah.
go undefeated up until Bald Bull. I still can't beat Bald Bull in one shot. Um,
Yeah. Well,
it,
and
it
I mean, you've gone through that game how many times too?
I love it so much. It's all precision and timing, and I didn't think I'd actually like that sort of thing. I always considered myself, I only like MMOs or I only like this. I don't think I'd be interested in arcade style uh older games. And it uses all old game mechanics. There's nothing new comparatively from Punch Out NES to Punch Out Wii.
Yeah.
The only new thing is graphics and maybe like a couple movement changes, but this game just everything felt good about it, whether I was playing sideways on the Wii remote or whether I was playing with the actual Wii board and nunchuck and Wii remote kind of actually bobbing and weaving. It felt good to play, which I can't actually say to a lot of these games. It's one of those games that I will log on to every now and again, and I'll beat it in a whole day because I just can't put it down. And I think that also plays into a huge factor of why it is one of the top 5 games for me. I can play it in a day, and I will feel like I've accomplished so much.
Yeah, and I think another big thing for it is because you were explaining how really into it you get because of, like you said, the bobbing and weaving and the balance board. Like it almost felt like uh before VR, like you are in the game or you are actually in this match. So I could definitely see, why it would be so immersive to the point where you just don't even realize that you've played the whole game in one day. You
No,
know?
exactly. And like away from just the game and the philosophy of the game itself, the art style is I it's so nice.
Yeah.
Nintendo gets a lot of hate for not making their games more realistic and more high definition. I feel a stylized style goes way far and above and beyond for that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on the medium, like what kind of game you're playing. Because I mean, like if if Nintendo were to make like a Call of Duty style game or a Battlefield, and then they use like Mario style graphics, I think they would really they would catch a lot of flack for that. And then they're like, oh, what's this B list first person shooter that they came
Right.
out with? So, but but I think it plays to their strengths when they make like a zanier game that you could put a stylized art or like brand new 3D models for this game that came out for the NES.
Well,
So
exactly.
yeah, so I think Nintendo does a good job when it comes to certain things like that, and Punch Out is definitely no exception.
And I'm gonna say this excuse for pretty much every game I'm going to list, but the fucking soundtrack for Punch Out,
Yeah,
I can't I love all the soundtrack of Punch Out. From
it
all
is.
the basic stuff, it gets me in that mood to really get into it.
Yeah, it is. It is really good.
But
Even even like the transitional music, like when you transition from one fight to another, and and they do like the the showing off of the next character that you're gonna fight, and you kind of get a glimpse of to their theme song before it starts
yes,
putting in
it's
the
so
beat and all
good.
that.
It's
So yeah,
so good. They put so much personality into all these characters. I do think of Punch Out as the reason why I have not only much more respect for older arcade style games, but I think it's what makes me like them more than a lot of modern games today. Like
yeah,
I love the beat 'em up genre. I used
yeah,
to not like anything about beat 'em ups or hack and slashes. Punch Out kind of changed my whole perspective on that, and I love beat 'em ups now. They're so fun.
yeah. I mean, I don't. To be honest, I wouldn't even consider it a beat 'em up game.
It's not a beat 'em up game, but it's the older style arcade esque game, and I always dismissed it way back when. I'm like, oh, this is like an arcade game. I only want to play this on an arcade stick. It's the only way to play. I don't really feel that way anymore in the fact that I can enjoy an arcade esque or arcade style game on any medium.
Yeah. Oh man, that there's a ton of there's a ton of arcade games that I've played in the past that I would love to have like on a console, or like maybe I could put it on the computer and put up like a gun cog or something. Like I know Carnival has been like a big
Oh,
that's one of my favorites
I love Card Evil.
for stand up or for those standalone arcade games. There was like the Quick Draw McGraw or something like that I always used to play at People's Choice.
Yes! Oh my god,
Uh,
that's such a fun one.
it is. That's a good one. And then of course, what is I think it's called like Ocean Diver 2, where we would fight against like all the legendary ocean monsters and we were like the two divers.
Do you remember, like, towards when before that People's Choice had closed down, there was that police game that like actually
Oh,
tracked your movements.
yeah, yeah. You had to like stand inside the cage or whatever.
Yeah, you had to stand inside like a little cage, and it felt so close to VR, like you were playing with a Kinect or iToy or something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved that game. I need that as a home console release on VR.
Yeah. Need to get that as a home console release. I mean, shoot, you just need to get the remember that old I want to say it was like a Chinese Warring Kingdoms card game that
Son
we used
Goku
to play.
Shitaisen.
That's the one.
I still have the cards. I was so mad when they removed the actual machine. It was so cool and unique.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely. If you can get your hands on one of those, just get it and put it at your place.
Well, oh my god, it was so sad. So I went out with my girlfriend not too long, like before we went on the trip we went on, um, and we actually stopped by where the GameWorks used to be because they shut down operation. They're no longer existent.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I stopped. I like drove by where they used to be, and it just broke my heart. I'm like all of the memories and all that. Oh, it hurt.
Yeah, yeah, arcades are just a dying breed at this point.
And it's sad because it didn't have to be. It
No,
really didn't. But I still blame like COVID obviously played a huge part in arcade's demise.
yeah,
But I think what killed it in the West was the focus on gambling.
I could see that. Yeah,
Most because in Japan, that's where you have these like 3-story, 5-story tower arcades with rows of these games lined up. Most of those games aren't ticket games.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
not going into an arcade to win a prize. You're going into the arcade because the arcade's the experience.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think that was the disconnect. And we're kind of getting off topic here because we're going into like an arcade retrospective, but I guess we'll write that down as like another topic to talk about.
Yeah.
But I guess just like real quick as like a tidbit before we uh
Move on.
well, yeah, before we move on and just so that I can add in to that real quick. But yeah, like there was definitely a disconnect somewhere from like arcades in the 80s where it was people going in to play some friggin' Pac-Man and like our all the Atari games and stuff like that. So I just drew a blank for a second, but yeah, like people going in to play these games, these stand up arcade games, and then like 90s 2000s, all of a sudden these like Chuck E. Cheese's coming in, and ticket games are the thing, and they want kids to go in and spend money to get tickets to get like dumb prizes that you break in 2 days anyways, or forget about, and then and it seems like that method stuck because it was like even if you didn't sell enough, you were still making more money than the arcade next door that had real video games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I learned that from looking at the metrics for a lot of arcades. But
yeah,
we'll come back to that topic because I could talk about that for a whole stream.
yeah, I would write that down. That's that's going in the list of things.
But that's Punch Out for me. It made me love arcade style games. It is a game I felt like I've been actually mastering every time I play it. Like I feel like I get a little better every time. I love the art style, I love the music. It's perfect. It's one of those perfect games for me, and I feel it is only going to get better for me.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely uh something to get you moving to uh sort of perfect the strategy, learn the moves to the point that you could probably do it blindfolded and off of sound alone.
Shoutouts to Zallard1 for doing that.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of audio cues in that game to where you can just listen and never have to know what's happening.
But that's my number 5. And we've talked for the past about 13 minutes about my number 5. What's yours?
I don't have a list, so you're next.
Wait, what?
No.
I was supposed to be like, you did not just lie to me like 20 minutes before we started. I was gonna get legit mad. I was gonna stop the whole recording.
It's like, yeah, just go ahead. I'm gonna listen to you talk this whole time. But so for me, this one I put on for multiple reasons, and it's not just necessarily for the game itself, even though it is a a renowned AAA game. And for me, my number 5 is actually Gears of War, 1 through 3, all three of them.
So good. Such
Yeah,
good games.
amazing games. I mean, it kind of brought in the staple for third person shooter action shooters. Um, I mean, you had great characters, a great story. I think the control style, the gameplay, where you're basically hugging walls and then spray and praying, quick shots around the corner, the different the reload mechanics for your weapon instead
I
of just
love
like
that.
normal reloading. You know, you could just hit the sweet spot and instantly reload instead of waiting. Um, you know, like and then each game just kept getting better and better. You know, like it wasn't I didn't feel like I was playing the same exact game all through the life of Gears of War 1 through 3. It just kept getting better and better. And they also added in things like the horde mode. So, you know, you had your own little Gears of War Plants vs Zombies style uh game where you could set up defenses and get ready to take on waves and waves of locusts. And you know, it's just another thing that makes the game great because it's like, oh yeah, I played through the entire story. Now let me get all my buddies online, and instead of going and playing some PvP, which you know the online player versus player was still pretty good. There was a lot of cheese strategies, but you know every shooter has that on every map. But like you know you get a couple buddies online, or you can play with somebody split screen at home and just do some horde mode and just
Yeah.
you know uh so yeah, visually, gameplay wise, story wise, it's easily you know one of the games that had changed my life. But I think the biggest reason why is uh my best friend at the time. Like that was our game.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, he passed away years ago, but like that was our game. We played that all the time, and every time another one came out, it was like I'm not playing this until he's off of work or I'm out of school and he's out of you know whatever. Like until we were able to be in the same room play split screen Gears of War, like it was not happening. And I actually uh I noticed this when I first made this list a little bit ago. I actually have not played Gears of War since he passed. So I don't know if that was intentional or subconscious or anything, or maybe just because the newer Gears of War games are ass. But like I haven't picked up 1 through 3 at all since that you know since that time, and you know maybe it's just because you know subconsciously I'm just like no, it's wrong. I can't play it. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that you know, I'll play it. I'll play it again. I'll pick it up probably when I get a bigger hard drive for um my Xbox One because I did end up picking up Gears of War 4. Never played it. I took it out of the plastic. I installed it, and then I tried to install Gears 1 through 3 because it came with 4, and I never played it.
Look, I think we all have had that problem where like it's literally buy a game on Steam,
Yeah,
install it, never touch it.
it was. I essentially bought a physical game for my Steam library and then just didn't play it.
Just didn't play it. It's like, ah, I'll get to it eventually. That's how I feel every time I buy a new game. I'm just like, ah, I'll play it when I retire.
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much.
That's my
Yeah,
retirement plan. Is I'm gonna play like the wall of games I'll eventually have.
yeah. Whenever the kids are all fully moved out and all the animals die and I've got nothing better to do, I'll finally I'll finally play all of my games in my Steam library and I'll die doing it
Exactly.
with my gallon of orange juice at my side.
Stupid orange.
It's delicious.
Oh
But
my god.
so yeah, that's the you know bigger reasons for Gears of War. Aside from all the other reasons why everybody says Gears of War is amazing, it's the sentimental reasons that I have with it that make it. That's the part of it that changed my life. You know, it wasn't necessarily the game itself, but it's what the game represented. And you know, I would be remiss to not put that on the list for that reason alone.
I love that. I really do. I actually thought personally, I thought Gears was gonna be higher for you.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
when you hear the other ones on the list, you'll know why it had to be on the list, which is why it had to be number 5.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, let's jump to number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4, Burger King foot lettuce. For me, number 4 and number 3 are gonna sound weird to be in this order, but I feel like this is where they deserve to be. So my number 4 is actually The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Oh my god.
What?
Okay, no, just go ahead, and you're gonna say the same thing. So go ahead. It's all good.
Do you have Skyrim on yours too?
No.
Okay.
Trust me, this will be really funny. Just finish.
I swear to God, I know what yours is now.
So go ahead. Why is Skyrim number 4 for you?
I didn't think about Skyrim because it's just so second nature to me. The game is I started with Oblivion. I remember you had bought Oblivion at a GameStop on a whim. I think someone talked you into it. I don't exactly remember the full story of it. We were at GameStop. We found a used copy. We popped it. What?
No, go ahead.
I think we found like a used copy on 360. We popped it in that day, and holy crap, we were immersed. And Oblivion was great.
So the actual story to that is Trace let me borrow his copy, and I never gave it back. I was that guy. He let me borrow his copy of Oblivion on 360, and we never gave it back.
All right, that's even better.
Continue.
I don't know, why do I have that memory then? But played Oblivion, loved everything about it, and when Skyrim was announced, that was a really cool moment because we came into Oblivion late. We were about to witness Skyrim and witness the freaking revolution it brought to gaming.
Oh yeah.
Like, people can hate Skyrim all they want. I know a lot of people do, but that game really changed a lot when it came out on 11/11/11.
Yeah,
and
people only hate Skyrim, or the people that do hate Skyrim are the modders, because now there's a demand for mods, and now now they have a lot of work on their plate.
And I'll admit, when I first went through Skyrim, I really didn't think much of it. It was fun. I always was like, Oblivion's better. Oblivion's better. I like it more. I like it more. I like Oblivion better. Skyrim's not that cool. I don't really care. It wasn't until I started playing it on PC, not modded, just playing it on PC and really just immersing myself into this. I lost days on this game. And I think why it changed me a lot and why it made me the gamer I am today. I feel Skyrim is the anchor I compare all RPGs I play to now. It is... I think it's because Skyrim, for me, was the perfect balance between freedom, between like how you build your character. It's not absolutely free, which sometimes is good, sometimes is really bad, and it balanced story. I never felt like I had to do something. Unlike with most RPGs, I really feel like I have to do something. True. With Skyrim, I always felt like this is just this. I could do whatever I want, which wasn't even true. And God, again, the soundtrack. Oh,
good soundtrack.
I would use that to fall asleep to. It was so good.
Oh yeah, I mean, I even use it for our Dungeons and Dragons sessions. I'll have just the normal Skyrim overworld music when you're walking around.
Skyrim really was a game for me. That one again. I'll say this again. I have little brother syndrome. It is hard for me to get into single player games. If Skyrim can suck me in to playing more than 500 hours of it on PC alone, this game has a way to really immerse you into what you're doing and make you want to go back, even if it's to do something a little trivial. Maybe you just want to go kill a couple of giants and log off. You're done. That you're good. The fact
True.
that it never ends is incredibly helpful for the longevity of the game, and I don't think when they released Elder Scrolls Online, it lived up to that. And I'm hoping when Elder Scrolls 6 releases, Skyrim will change to Elder Scrolls 6 because I want it to change my life even more.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will. I mean, you know, it'll be in a whole new world to explore, and you know, hopefully they'll keep the core mechanics that make the game so good for you, and you know, I have high hopes for it.
I will also say that I did also enjoy what Skyrim has become even now. A lot of people hate how Skyrim was all re-released and everything. I think it's a testament to how amazing the game is. They released this shit on Amazon Echo. You could play Skyrim on your Amazon.
True.
And like that was a huge meme and everyone made fun of it, but it's a thing that exists and it was so good for them. I bought every version of Skyrim not because, you know, I'm a shill for Bethesda, but I kind of am, but not just because of that. It's
I mean,
because
it kind of is, but go ahead.
it's okay, that's why I said not only. It's also because Skyrim I feel every time I play Skyrim, it's like the first time again. I always feel like I can do something new, and not every game can do that for me.
True.
And I think
Yeah.
that's why it changed me so much. Is because again, I use that as the anchor of me saying, can other RPGs do what Skyrim is doing?
Yeah. You know, and I think about it too, like on your point of how people kind of complain about Skyrim being released, the like kind of the similar game being released for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um how come nobody says that when they re-release Mario 64 a billion times on Virtual Console and like special editions? And nobody says that when they re-release like another Mario game or another Pokemon game or something like that.
Well, exactly, and that's I always thought the people who hate re-releases are just they're dumb. Like just who who for a lot of these people, who cares? For Skyrim, I loved it when they just even if they were upgrading something small, like I controversial opinion here. I
Yeah,
think I think the community mods that you had to pay for were really good.
yeah. Well, wasn't it the latest like Skyrim release? All it did was like bring in fishing.
Well, it brought in fishing, and then you got all the DLC and all the community mods that you had to pay for. You got those.
Oh,
They're
okay.
just
Gotcha.
in the game at that point. So
That was
stuff like the freaking Gray Fox's cowl is in the game.
okay.
Like that's so freaking cool.
It is.
You get you have the succubuses and the angel people from Oblivion Shattering Isles in there too. Like there's so much that's constantly still being added to this game. I could gush about it forever, and I'm sure I've gushed about it a lot to probably people's wanting to tear their hair out. But Skyrim means that much to me.
Yeah. It is a good game. I mean, I have to say, like, they have a great magic system in that game.
Oh,
I think from what I've played so far of, I think it was called Dawn Guard
mm-hmm.
expansion. That one's been pretty cool. Still haven't played First Dragonborn. Uh, but yeah, I mean, for what it is, I think it's pretty cool. I thought the werewolf transformations were pretty neat when you join the companions.
Yeah,
Um,
I think Skyrim also had some really killer DLC, like you had mentioned. I thought Dawnguard was awesome. Like you could be a vampire hunter and get a crossbow, which is something we'd never seen in an Elder Scrolls game before. Um, you could become a vampire lord and be freaking awesome with that. I took that. Why would I not take that?
yeah,
Um, First Dragonborn. It's a neat DLC. I like that it brings back a Morrowind aesthetic to it, that you
Yeah.
don't really see in anything else. Like it feels like I am traveling back to Morrowind, even though I'm not.
Yeah,
It's that kind of community, if I remember correct.
that's
It
pretty cool.
feels it's so cool, and I think the Dragonborn that game that's what I should say. Skyrim feels like a D&D adventure.
Yeah,
The Dragonborn is the perfect main character power. It's not super overpowered, but it definitely makes you important.
yeah.
But I've gushed enough about Skyrim. I want to hear about your number 4.
Okay, so number 4.
Number 4.
Um, so my number 4, the reason I was laughing so hard is because I put down Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
I freaking knew it.
I, I think Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is a superior game to Skyrim. I think they both have really good things, but this isn't a debate on which game is better. This is this is a list of why this game is on here, why it's like a life changing thing, and you know, from when I first watched our friends play this game, and I had never heard of Elder Scrolls till Oblivion. They were, it was actually Trace's little brother was playing it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a neat game. Like graphics look really nice, and I think actually at the time I had Might and Magic Dark Messiah. I think I
Mm-hmm.
had that game, and I would play that, and then I would watch. And then we went over to their house, and I watched them play Elder Scrolls 4, and I'm like, their game looks so much nicer than mine. So,
Like this
like the
game just looks amazing.
yeah, the graphics look great. The voice acting is good. I mean, yeah, there's only like 4 voice actors, but still.
I think that added to the charm, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Uh, but yeah, for me, I love Elder Scrolls 4. It is for me the pinnacle of single player RPG kind of games. And I also have that sort of, it feels like a really well thought out open world Dungeons and Dragons adventure
Hell
where
yeah.
you don't start out as anything particular. Like you're not a special person. You're just, an emperor saw you in prison one day and was like, I saw you in my dreams, which, could be anything. It could have been a regular dream. It could have been a wet dream. You don't know what it was.
Oh, it was
And
absolutely a wet dream.
I mean, not if it was Akatosh. That's pretty hot. But I think just the freedom that that Oblivion gives you is, you learn, you go through your little tutorial in the sewers, learning all of your basics, combat and magic and lock picking and puzzle solving, and then creating your own class, being able to pick what your specialities are going to be, basically your 2 proficiencies,
Yeah.
um, being able to put points into all of the different skills that you can do, and man, it was just something about like Oblivion felt like a classic high fantasy adventure,
It really
and
did.
and I love that. And it's like you would think that Skyrim would be my favorite considering our heritage. But I just like Skyrim just to me feels just dark and gloomy, and like they have some beautiful artwork and scenery and things like that, but it just feels like it's trying to like it doesn't want you to look at all of the things inside of that world, as opposed to anytime I boot up Oblivion, I look around Tamriel, and I'm like, wow, like they wanted me to see everything. They wanted me to see how bright the sun was, and the shade that the trees would give off, and they wanted me to be surprised by enemies because I can't hear them, sneaking through the bushes at me. um the combat system was a little clunky in that one, but I could totally forgive it for what it was.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you know, like it's definitely not as fluid as it is in Skyrim, but it did the job that it needed to do in Oblivion. Um, I like that you know, the main story itself, trying to stop the Mythic Dawn from bringing Mehru's Dagon into existence, and like, oh man, like that the scene at the end too. Like, I would say spoilers, but this game is like 15 years old, so it's like,
Yo, spoiler warning for the
yeah,
15-year-old game. Don't spoil Mario 64 for me.
right. Like that scene at the end where Martin becomes Akatosh and battles against Mehru's Dagon in the Imperial City is just like, I'll
Cause you would
never,
never see it coming.
yeah, and I'll never unsee that scenario. Like it was amazing. And you know, and it's like all of the stories that were in Oblivion, like they all felt narratively strong. I mean, like the Dark Brotherhood stuff that you did in Oblivion blows Skyrim's Dark Brotherhood out of the water.
Oh,
Like,
no doubt.
yeah, like it was amazing. Like the subtlety that you could have in those missions. I mean, you had your basic assassination missions, but then it got to like the one where you had to go to the party and it was like you had to secretly kill everybody inside that tiny little house.
I love
Like
that mission.
it I know it, like it puts some real, it puts you in the game. Like you have to critically think, like, okay, I gotta try to pull this person into this room, and then when I take them out, I have to just disappear for a little while, show up again. You know, it's a lot of thinking where you're gonna do it. Almost as if you're the bad guy in a game of Clue, and they're, you know, you're trying to make sure that you don't get found out. Or I guess the latest version of that would be Among Us.
Among Us.
But
I think you had mentioned it earlier, about how Oblivion really felt more like D&D. It felt more like a tabletop game, and
oh yeah,
I think that's what I think that's one of its biggest benefits is it definitely feels much more like I made this choice.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got that sort of feel to it. You've got the, you know, I just started out as Joe Schmo, and I level myself up by getting better gear, getting better spells. Um, the, like I said, the narratives and even the smallest side quests. I mean, there's the one where you get sucked into the painting from that guy who had the magical paintbrush or something like
I
that.
love that quest.
Yeah,
It's so unique.
yeah, like I even have that set up for the Silver Bullet Society D&D adventure I'm doing. You know, like at some point they're gonna they're gonna do that exact sort of situation, just because it was such a fun adventure, or a fun little side quest that you do. And you know, when it comes to Oblivion's DLCs, you know, Knights of the Nine, Knights of the Nine was, it's great. I love it. I love the gear. I love the bad guys, the story, the just everything about it was great. The pilgrimage,
I was
however,
just about to say the pilgrimage though.
is not. And but the pilgrimage did do something for me, because at that time that Oblivion was like hot and big, you know, I needed to critically think about where I was going to go in a game with the least amount of conveyance. You know, it actually gets me to start looking at landmarks within a game and remembering, like, oh yeah, I remember this little like random statue here. That means I got to go this many kilometers this way. You know, instead of just like games now where you just fast travel everywhere. And I get that you can do that in Elder Scrolls too, but
Mm-hmm.
with quests like the pilgrimage, you can't, because you can't just jump from one well to another. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was good for me to have to critically think and start learning the map of this massive world that I've been playing in. And I think it's good that Knights of the Nine doing something like the pilgrimage quest, not giving you an entirely new island or something like that to play on, because that would then it's like you don't know where you are at all, and now you have to try to somehow create landmarks for this place that you haven't quested in as much as you've been in Tamriel.
I
And
will
then there's
say, oh, go ahead.
okay, no, go, you go.
I was just gonna say that I will say that Oblivion's map design is far superior to Skyrim's.
Yeah, oh, 100%. And and Shimmering Isles, man, like
Oh,
that was for what it was. It
oh,
was essentially like getting a whole. It was like Oblivion 2.
it
It was a
was.
whole. It was a whole nother game, a whole nother land to be in. Doing your dealings with Sheogorath and trying to deal with Jigalag or Jigalag's invasion, battling against Jigalag's forces and getting their armor and weapons and stuff looks so cool. You had that one quest. I'll never forget it. There was a quest that you went on. It was a side quest, and you actually went into a dungeon and ended up not going through the dungeon itself, but you were actually the dungeon master and the trap controller for a group of adventurers that came in seeking the treasure within.
I love that. That quest is just. Oblivion has some of the most creative quests. I always appreciated it for it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
yeah. They outdid themselves with that game, like everything about it, and that's why, like you had said, like Oblivion for me is my staple. Like it's gotta be like this game or break,
yeah.
or bust. So and that I like to think that my a lot of my video gaming critical thinking or when I when I have to find my way around an open world or just my love for high fantasy adventure and I would have never gotten into the world of Dungeons and Dragons if it wasn't for games like Elder Scrolls Oblivion or games like Dragon Age and stuff like that. Um, to kind of give me that taste of high fantasy. And I feel like Oblivion gave me the most, where I was able to dump hundreds of hours into it and really get to know every zone and all the important characters. You don't really get to know the Emperor that much, but whatever.
He's not important anyway.
No, not at all. And
Loser
just
dies in like the first 30 minutes.
and just like the different factions that you can join, and then like the I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it. The what do you call it, the social mini game that you play when you try to like talk your way around and convince people to get extra
Oh god,
dialogue.
I
Or
hated that.
I loved it. It's like there were times where I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. But then, like thinking outside of the guy who was being frustrated because I wasn't getting what I wanted, looking at it from the outside, I go, man, that actually was a pretty neat mechanic. Other than just like going in, like, because in Skyrim you just go into a skill tree and go, I get better prices because I put a point into it.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to Oblivion, where it's like you gotta earn that. You want it, you gotta
You
earn it.
earned that reputation. You gotta make them smile.
Yeah, you gotta make them smile. You gotta give them that compliment. You gotta say something they don't like, but you just gotta make sure that it's in a smaller bar
Oh yeah,
than the compliment. You want to make sure your compliment is the biggest.
the biggest.
So yeah, that's why Elder Scrolls Oblivion is number 4 for me, because anything that has to do with high fantasy in my life, aside from like Lord of the Rings, that is where it all stems from. Is Elder Scrolls 4.
God, we really are brothers if we literally put Skyrim and Oblivion both as our number 4.
I know, right?
Like, god damn it.
Like, yeah, that.
But I also think that this actually goes to show a big, I don't want to say a big difference, but a difference in how we play these games. You had mentioned how that Oblivion was kind of rough around the edges when it came to its actual like gameplay compared to Skyrim. And I think that was our big difference here, because I always agree with you. Narratively and a lot of structurally, Oblivion blows Skyrim out of the water.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's that moment to moment gameplay where I'm like, oh, Skyrim all the way.
yeah,
And I actually like that little dichotomy about us.
yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's the not that there's a huge age gap between us, but it's just you can kind of tell the difference of the old and the new. Like
Yeah.
you need something that's more fluid and more interactive, and I need something that's clunky but reliable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I totally agree.
Let's just move on to number 3. Number 3 is going to
Right.
surprise you, but I have a reason.
Bubsy.
How did you know it was Bubsy 3D?
a,
Who
a
the hell
clause,
told you?
Bubsy, a clause for alarm.
My number 3 pick. I want to take you back to the years, Chris.
Boy,
We're playing on 360 again, cause
crazy devil.
Not Crazy Devil. I want to take you back to the year 2010.
Okay, so graduated high school.
We're back in 2010, and we're recently getting back into something we took a long break from. Because my number 3 pick is WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2011.
Okay. Good
And
choice.
I want to give you a reason why, because it is kind of a weird pick.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the other WWE games that we play.
I specifically chose this for a couple reasons. One, this was when we were just starting to get back into wrestling. We had watched like WrestleMania 26 or whatever. We
Yeah.
got on like DVD from like Best Buy or something, and we got back into it. And this was the first game we bought. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 was where we started our giant universe of characters. This
That
Go ahead.
that is true.
Um, the wrestling games have always been really weird. It's already niche enough to want a wrestling game, but a wrestling simulation game is incredibly. People have been trying to get rid of these games. Funny enough, they want a more arcade style. I disagree.
They want more WWE All Stars.
They want more WWE No Mercy.
Yikes! All right.
Oh, that one. And people. I think people are just tired of the simulation thing. But it started our big universe of wrestlers, and it really made me want to be more creative with stuff. As the years kind of went on, we created new characters. We had Blackheart and D-Storm, our staples.
True.
But then we got people like Victor Murdington. We got Pone. We've got Brohawk Fields. We got Nick Gofter. All these characters that mean a lot to our creative ingenuity with this stuff. We made stories with this. I think the biggest reason why I think this is my number 3 is it forced me to be creative. And
That's true.
a lot of games don't force you and let you be as creative as the WWE games let you be. As we went on to 2K, WWE 12, 13, as I continued with 2K14, 2K16, and then 2K19, which is when I really got into it. I was forced to be more creative with how I create characters, how I create narratives, and especially with 2K19, but I'm putting 2011 for starting that whole trend for me.
Well, yeah. I mean that would be the life-changing part of it.
I would say, especially in 2K19, these games, this long chain of games, allowed me, and I almost feel weird saying it because it's not a very popular opinion. It made me want to play the game in a way that wasn't intended. Because as I've told you, I don't really play the wrestling games anymore. I watch them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can get that. I mean, it's sometimes it's a little more entertaining to watch that than it is to watch the actual show.
I agree. And that's the cool part, especially when I can craft these narratives. I can commentate. I can I can put Christopher Rex against Victor Murdington for the ASW championship. And I can craft so much with that, and I can watch it in real time and get hyped like I was watching wrestling back in the day. It feels nostalgic. It feels fun. It allowed me to love a game, not for its gameplay, but for its entertainment value, which not I don't think a lot of games can even say. The game can be fun, but can it be entertaining to watch? That's hard to do with a lot of games if you're not invested in what's going on.
That's true. Like if there's not like a massive story or a like a competitive scene for esports or something like that, like for a simulation game outside of like Sims or Minecraft, it's pretty crazy to see that, you know, just creating your own world and then watching your narratives play out instead of just writing a book or something like that. It puts a whole new perspective on it.
And I think that's what really made me love this entire thing. Like art style, really fun. It tries to be realistic, especially in 2K19, which I think is my favorite of them all. It gave you a lot of customization options. I think these games are really slept on, and I think that creative freedom lets me be creative in more games than I typically want to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can the first thing I could think of is like when you first started picking up being a dungeon master. You know, that was after we had started doing those WWE games for a while. So, you know, it got you into the idea of creating a narrative into that and then making a character here and making a bad guy. You know, it's just it was a way for you to kind of awaken that thought process that, you know, that you had. You just needed something to kind of give you a little push.
Exactly. It's that little push and that really that drive because I'm able to now craft. I mean, not. I don't think I'm very good at it, but I can craft a basic narrative of what players would want to do, and I owe that a lot to this random wrestling game that I'll still jump on every now and again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's my number three. I didn't take too long with it, but I think it was more self-explanatory that it allowed me to be creative, and
Yeah.
I feel it deserves that number three spot because of that reason. It's not the longest winded reason, but it means a lot to me, and I feel it's shaped me when I go to other games. How creative can I be? When I jump on World of Warcraft, can I make a role playing character? I could. I can craft a whole narrative for this character, and I like that aspect that that's given me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's been really good for you and your outlets. Okay.
Um, Go
So
ahead
my
with your number three.
yeah, so my number 3, you'll probably actually be surprised to hear this at number 3, which I mean it's not a low number, but you would probably expect it to be higher.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 3 is actually Halo 1 and 2.
Ooh.
Now,
I mean, hmm.
I didn't put 3 on there. And it's not to say that I think 3 is a phenomenal game. It's amazing. But Halo 1 and 2 have a special place in my life. And a lot of that is, you know, when Halo 1, I discovered that game because a friend from school, like we're talking like grade school, like the Xbox original had just not I don't want to say just come out, but it had been out for a little bit. And I went over to my buddy Christian's house and he was playing Halo Combat Evolved. And I was like, "Oh, this is kind of a neat game." And we did some co-op and then he wanted to do uh versus mode and just kind of show off because he was actually watching Red versus Blue also, you know, because we're all dumb kids and watching things that we shouldn't be watching. And
Well, of course.
and he was showing me things like Red versus Blue, and I was just like, I was blown away. I was just like, oh, they're funny. They're saying naughty words, and it's in this video game. And I'm assuming what I'm watching is just like in Halo. And then when we played Halo, I'm like, wow, this isn't anything like that show we were watching. So
This
it's
is
like,
way more serious going on in here.
yeah. I had two different takes on it, and I knew nothing about the story. We didn't play like that deep into the campaign. Like I just wanted to, you know, just push buttons and spend time with a friend and eat food. Like that's all I wanted to do.
That's the dream.
Right. And I guess I picked up on it at some point. And I actually went through Halo when we finally got our Xbox original. So we got our Xbox original, and I think the first two games we had for it were Halo Combat Evolved and Blinks the Time Sweeper. Those were our very two first games for that. And I remember you and me going through, the easiest mode of campaign for Halo. And it was what it was. We were both really young and still kind of developing our game skills. But Halo is a game similar to how Gears of War was with Laurent. Halo is like that for you and me. Like I will only go through those Halo games. I mean, I go through them solo now, but when it came to like new Halo games coming out, I specifically would not play them unless you were playing with me.
Couch co-op, baby.
Yeah, like our whole thing was going through co-op games. I think the only one that we didn't go through together was or right away at least was ODST, but that's because we were at like opposite schools at that time. Like you were still in grade school, I was like in middle school, and I'm like staying up late trying to play Firefight, going to the midnight release for ODST and things like that. So I believe that was the only one that you didn't have the first experience with me. But
I think Halo 5 as well, but
well, I didn't even
that's not a Halo game.
I didn't even finish that game. But Halo 1 and 2, like those are the ones where it's like Halo 2 was the like, because we were already into Halo 1 and we hated doing the library level, and we loved doing the very last level where we're escaping the Halo ring exploding. And like I was a bad driver and you were just the turret guy flinging the turret in all directions because you didn't know what to shoot at. And like it's things like that, like the stupid things that happen. Or like when I was playing with Box that one day going through co-op, and we like open up a door and there's just a bunch of like those level 1 flood guys like bunched up, and we don't know what to do. So he just throws a plasma grenade in there, and they all just immediately leap onto him, including the one with the grenade. And I just watch his body explode and fly out of the building. I'm like, oh man, good thing he's player 2. But and then Halo 2 comes out, and like that was a big deal. Halo 2 is still the best, my favorite Halo game. And no Halo game will ever beat it. Halo 2 is
so good.
Phenomenal. Or phenomenal.
No, it's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is unbeatable.
Yeah, like the story in it is kind of like the climax to the Halo series. You've got massive character development for Master Chief. You've got massive character development for the Arbiter, for the Shipmaster, for Sergeant Johnson, for Commander Keyes. Like there's so many characters that get brought into that game, and because the story mode is so much longer than the first one, you get to flush out the characters that already existed and then flush out the ones that got put in that game.
And let's not forget that Halo 2 brought in boss fights.
It did bring in boss fights. Now, they weren't extravagant, but they did have some boss fights.
But they did, and they were fun.
Yeah. So I mean, I thought those were pretty cool. Having some boss fights. But Yeah, Halo 2 is super nostalgic for me because that's one of our games that we could probably quote certain levels verbatim.
Oh my god,
Uh,
absolutely.
for the amount of times that we've gone through that game, it was almost as if Halo 1 and 2 were the only games that existed in our house. Like it was just get home from school, go through like 3 or 4 Halo maps, and then go to bed, wake up, come back from school, go through the rest of the Halo game, and then move on to the next one. Or can we do some crazy stuff with this? Like let's just spend our entire time on the second set of the outskirts level in in Halo 2 trying to hijack a banshee in an area that we shouldn't be in. Like just dumb things that we would do because we had gone through the story so much and we're just trying to play around with what we've got, trying to find some new innovative things to do. But yeah, Halo 1 and 2 playing with you specifically is a very sentimental important moment in my life that made me this one specifically was just like made me love the Halo series and the characters, and then makes me nerd rage when like Halo 4 and Halo 5 and stuff like that comes out. I heard that the new Halo, the one that came out like what was it earlier this year?
Yeah,
I heard
Infinite.
yeah, Infinite. I heard that one kind of did better for the campaign than 5. Um but to me there's only uh what, 5 Halo games? Yeah, to
Yeah.
me there's only 5 Halo games. Halos 1, 2, 3, ODST, and Reach. That's it. There's no other Halo games for me.
I feel
And then,
say one of my favorite memories of co-op Halo with you is when I was really young and you like looked at me like, "Hey, Alex, I think you like bet me something, but he said, I want you to only use the plasma pistol and take out these 2 hunters."
yeah,
And then I
Legend.
did
You took him out on Legendary with the plasma pistol.
with the controller. This wasn't the PC version, folks. I did it
Oh
with
yeah,
a controller, plasma
yeah,
pistol on Legendary, 2 hunters. He was astonished.
yeah. That was something else. I also not vaguely, but I remember fondly uh when we were doing higher difficulties, as we were starting to do some more of that strategizing sort of situation where we're trying to get through different parts of the map. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like I remember specifically the times where, because you were player 2 and I knew you would respawn and be fine, that I would strap a plasma grenade to you and say, run into that guy or run
I
into that
remember
group. And then you would just take them out, respawn, go pick your stuff up. As long as you had your shotgun, you were fine. So I was like, all right, let's move on.
Shotgun. And that, by the way, to all the viewers, that shotgun obsession didn't stop.
It didn't, no. He still only plays engineers or operators in Battlefront, and he still only plays shotguns in, I don't know, it's still in like Payday and things like that.
Yeah,
It
I'll
never.
go on to freaking COD Mobile. Use the shotgun.
Yep, it is what it is.
Why waste multiple shots when you could bang dead?
Yeah, it's true.
I don't need
But
to aim with that. I just need to go into the direction.
so yeah, that's my number 3. That's Halo 1 and 2. Big, 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 big stuff with my
Big
brother.
stuff.
Big stuff, big memories with brother.
So I for my number 2, I actually had a number 2 set. I just switched it at this last second. While you were
Oh,
talking, I looked at it and I said, I can't put this at number 2. This has to be number 1. So my new number 2 is a tie. I couldn't choose between these 2 games because they both have the same meaning to me.
but that's cheating.
It's also my list, baby.
Oh, I was hoping that you would finish the
Pirates.
Pirates of the Caribbean quote.
I thought of it after you said it. Like, hold on, that's a Pirates quote. I really need to go through these movies again.
It's all right. I'm only a little disappointed.
But my number 2 is a tie.
Get some spanky wankies later.
As long as I'm my gooby.
All right,
Oh Lord.
lay it on me.
My number 2 is a tie between World of Warcraft and RuneScape.
Ooh, good choices. Good choices.
These were the MMOs for us. I mean, you know it, I know it.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about our history with World of Warcraft on Blizz Bizz before. I really started playing the game in BC, and I really got into the game in Cata. It
Yeah.
took a long time for me to really love World of Warcraft like I do today. Um, but my love for World of Warcraft stems from an entirely other game, RuneScape, our
Oh
first
yeah.
MMO.
It was. I remember we first started playing RuneScape, going over to Uncle Larry's house.
Yep, we'd go into his basement. He had 2 computers for us, and when we weren't playing Neopets or playing the Mucha Lucha Creata Luchador
Oh my
Flash
God,
game.
you remember that?
Chris, how can I forget that? We printed them out and made universes with them.
We sure did.
When we weren't playing that, we were playing RuneScape. Um, and from the discovery that RuneScape has, and we might do a whole episode and gush about RuneScape's design. I know I could talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, when we can put MMO retrospectives.
Yeah.
I mean, whole streams could be, or not streams, but like whole episodes could be done on just retrospectives of different things.
Oh yeah. And I loved the philosophy, the game design of RuneScape, even way back when, and even now. I mean, I had recently talked about it on my stream that I jumped back on RuneScape because I was waiting for Dragonflight and I fell in love with it all over again. Um, but in that same sense of how much I love RuneScape, I love World of Warcraft just as much. I've discovered this world bit by bit. I've learned to love its lore so much. I didn't think I could get so invested in the history of a game before. It's the it's the countless hours we had power leveling our characters. Going I One of my favorite moments was our first time, like, we were over leveled obviously, but it was our first time doing Dragon Soul.
Oh yeah.
I loved that moment because it had us working together on an old fight we thought we knew how to do so easily. It's like, oh, we just hit him. No, there's so much mechanics to the Spine of Deathway.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a few bosses in Dragon Soul that have like mechanics that you have to work together.
Mm-hmm. And I love doing those dungeons with you. I loved, going through raiding with leashes and collecting pets. Uh, all like in the same vein where you have the Halo co-op, you're always playing with me. That's how I felt about World of Warcraft and RuneScape, honestly, because we played so much RuneScape together. And even when RuneScape 3 came out, we were doing dungeoneering.
Yeah, I do remember that. I
Like,
love dungeoneering. That's so much fun.
so fun. And it's only better now, but
Yeah.
I hold so many memories of just playing with friends. World of Warcraft and RuneScape are a little hard to kind of play on your own. RuneScape's a lot easier compared to WoW, to play by yourself. But I the memories and nostalgia and the camaraderie I can share in World of Warcraft with you and all of our friends is something that has changed me so much that I want more people to experience it. It's World of Warcraft is a game I want to show to people because I want them to have the same joy I did.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. It's one of those things where it's like I had I had such a great time with this, and this makes me smile every time I'm doing it. Like just look at this thing, do this thing with me because you'll love it. And it's not because it's not because we had a lack of people to play with us. It's just because it's a massive multiplayer online role playing game where you're supposed to have hundreds of people playing with you.
World of
So,
Warcraft really emphasized massive multiplayer online.
oh
This
yeah,
world, I mean, like, I show people, like, I had recently, like, had a group chat with some of my friends at my job, and we were all in the Discord call together. They wanted to see World of Warcraft, and I wanted to show them how big this world is.
Yeah.
And they were blown away that one game can be this large.
Oh yeah.
There are entire continents, multiple continents and dimensions you can go into in this game, and being so massive, no adventure feels the same. And I know you can agree with me on this. It's why we became such big altaholics, is there's so much world to this World of Warcraft.
It's always a different adventure every time. You there's so many different routes, and Blizz has done a really good job of allowing you to do that with like the level what is it called, like where the world matches your level, so you can just
Yeah,
quest in any zone. You don't have to follow a track, or you don't have to follow a pattern. So I do like that. I was gonna mention because you had talked about how some of your fond memories are playing with our friends and doing stuff in World of Warcraft, and I agree, like all the early stuff is fun too, but when I think of my some of my fondest memories are actually a lot more recent than you think, uh
really.
because I think the things that recently with retail WoW that have just put me in a great mood, even though there were some strenuous situations, they put me in a great mood every time, was when we had our Mythic Plus team. When
It
we
was
had
so fun.
you, me, Bobo, Dave, and Box. And we would just do our Mythic dungeons because I loved the challenge, the teamwork, overcoming the odds. Like it was just every time we got on, I just had the best time.
It was such a cool time for me personally at that point, because I had never done a mythic dungeon before, ever. And this was during like BFA,
Yep.
for anyone wondering.
Alpha
um
Azeroth.
this was during BFA, and I had never done a mythic dungeon before. And Chris gave me the suggestion. He said, you know what, you've been playing DPS and healer your whole life, I hardly see you tank. And I was like, I'm kind of afraid to tank because being a tank kind of makes you a leader of the group, and I don't know if I have that potential. Chris gets me all like set up and ready to go on a class I thought I'd hate in the monk. It is now my favorite class in WoW. It's hard for me not to play my monk because there's so much of my muscle memory in that monk.
Yeah,
I I I love my monk Hoshi. He is my baby, just how my original mage is my baby.
yeah, I
And
get that.
I had so much fun with it. Like I hope that was reciprocated, that you noticed on my end too. I had fun with Mythic Dungeons. I
Yeah,
don't think I was ever ready for Mythic Plus because I felt I didn't want to. But Mythic Dungeons, when that first started, when we started doing that, and I was learning, and everyone was there, it was something that's going to be hard for me to replicate.
yeah, it's something that you just will, especially with the way that everybody's life is right now. It'll never happen again. But I'll
No,
always have those fond memories for that. And thinking about it now too, like I don't know who you've decided on, who's going into Dragonflight yet. But if you are going to do Hoshi, I've been thinking about bringing uh uh Leshen, so we would both be pandas, which is
well, for Dragonflight, I was actually thinking of trying the Evoker.
oh, okay. Well, the evoker starts like at at level cap almost.
He start wait, they start at level cap. I thought they started at the at like 60.
I believe it could be that too.
Because
I
I
honestly
think it's
don't.
like the Death Knight thing where they start at like 58 and then you go through the you go through the expansion.
That could be it. Yeah, I don't know if I can't remember if they did it the way of like the Death Knight, or if they did it like the Demon Hunters, where you were
We'll
like
see.
two levels off from level cap. I don't know. I'll look into it again, and we'll
If
because
it,
I
if that is the case, then I probably am gonna go with Hoshi,
yeah,
because I can't not I just can't not play that monk. He's so fun.
that's fair.
But and like I know we just talked a lot about World of Warcraft. That's where we have a lot of our together memories. I also have a lot of memories of RuneScape together. Specifically, one of my favorite memories was when I finally got a high enough fishing level to get lobsters. And while you were fighting ice knights, I'm over there on the island with the bananas, just catching a bunch of lobsters for you. And then I hand him to Box to cook them, and then he'd hand them to you. We were like a supply chain of getting you geared up.
I remember that. Yep,
Like,
that yeah, because like he was the chef, you were the fisherman, and then I was like, I want to have the best sword, so I was just raising combat while you guys are raising like home ec.
yeah, literally. Oh man. And I was like, I was always so reluctant to do like anything with combat back then.
Oh yeah,
I was like, I gotta fight. I don't know if I want to do that. Fighting's
you
boring. I want to go fishing.
you were combat level 39 forever, like the longest time.
I will not wear mithril armor. I am sticking with steel.
Yeah,
But
he was a part of the Bronze March.
oh, every year I was part of the Bronze March, baby. But those two games, they helped me discover MMOs. We've gone on to play so many more MMOs after that.
Oh yeah. If it
and
wasn't for those two, though, I don't think we would have played any others.
No, not at all. But also in the same vein of like Skyrim and Oblivion with us, World of Warcraft specifically, but also to me RuneScape are the premier examples that you compare these MMOs to and say, is this MMO doing something different these two are doing? Because if they're not, I don't want to hear it.
Yep, pretty much.
And I think that change that describes a lot of the gamer within me. You know, I love the cooperation. I love the nostalgia. And what World of Warcraft and RuneScape are doing are setting up for the longevity of their games. I want other MMOs that I play to have.
I agree.
But that's my number two, my fresh number two, and I'd love to hear yours.
All right, so number two. This is a game that I still, from time to time, jump on, and similar to how your Punch Out was, this is a game I can beat in a day. Give me 6 hours, and I probably won't even need the 6 hours, but if you give it to me, I'll probably beat it within that time frame. And not because it's easy or anything like that, or because I know the ins and outs. And I mean, those obviously, it's not the easy part, but knowing the ins and outs because I play so much. But I play it because of what it represents for a time in my life. And my number two is Custom Robo for GameCube.
Yes.
I really haven't been into the games that I don't know how to put it. Like I like the Legend of Zelda games, you know, I think they're fun. I definitely wouldn't say that they've ever changed my life or anything. And especially like the Final Fantasy games. Like I was never super deep into Final Fantasy for the longest time. Yeah, I think Final Fantasy X was when I finally went, oh, Final Fantasy is pretty neat.
Yeah, this is all right.
And yeah, I was like, it's pretty cool. I don't know anything that's going on because this is the 10th installment, but you know. But when it came to like RPGs where you walk around and all you do is really talk to people, and there's no like voice acting, and it's just text, and you have to read a video game the whole time.
It's
and
rough.
And at times it did feel like a visual novel, you know, doing Custom Robo. But then it throws you for a loop and you get into the actual gameplay in the battles, and it's just such a unique style of game. You know, when it comes to choosing the different parts for your robot that you're building up, and how like people in this world like solve their differences and fight their battles with tiny little microscopic robots that you can't see unless you have the digital world or virtual boy that you play it on, you know. Like it's just, it was such an interesting concept. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't the first custom robo game. I think there was another one that was Japan release only,
Yeah,
that was on like N64 or something like that.
I believe
But
that's true.
yeah, but that was the first that I ever heard of it, was on the GameCube. And then I fell in love with all of these characters, and I was like, wow, I never thought that reading a video game would make me feel for some of these characters, like, you know, the guys, like the whole team that worked at Steel Hearts. I think it was like Harry and I'm gonna butcher a lot of these people's names, but there's like Harry and then the girl. I don't remember the girl's name, but like I actually cared for these people. I was like, Harry, he's like the best friend type, and the girl who's not really a romantic interest, but she's obviously interested. But you're just gonna be brother sister, and it'll never cross that line.
Never.
Because she's more worried about her mysterious brother Sergio, who's been missing. And yeah, it's just, man. And the villains, like the villains keep throwing you for a loop in that game. Like you never really know who the real bad guy is until the Ryu prototypes and the end of the world stuff, and then you find out that you're just in this eco dome because the world has been destroyed. And it's just, man, like what a twist that you go on in that game. And like I'm trying to like not gush too much about everything, but like the character art was great. You know, both the 3D images, which were obviously a little rough because it was, you know, early 2000s GameCube, but the 3D models were good for what they were and what they were trying to be.
Oh
But
yeah.
you know, like the still images that would blink and move their mouths and have, you know, and then, you know, they kind of did that instead of just putting a wall of text up for you to read. You know, each you could tell what character was talking with your eyes closed, because every individual character had a specific note, like a tone that would play every time a word was spelling out. So it's like, you know, when your character's talking, it's just ma 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 ma, and then when Harry's talking, it's dun 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 dun, and it's just like, it's like at the beginning it's annoying. You're just like, oh great, I'm gonna hear these sounds all the time. But then when you start getting invested in the characters and what they have to say, and it's really helpful to kind of keep track of who's saying what. And you know, the pictures along with the tone, it's almost like you give that character a voice, and you know, you can imagine what they would sound like.
I wish more RPGs would do something like that if they don't have actual voice actors.
Yeah, like, and it just seems like such a simple thing to add in there, but it just makes it so real. Um, I guess back to the gameplay, you know, creating your little robot and coming up with different weapon builds, different armor builds, out body builds. Every armor has a different charge ability. You know, I like to play the javelin or javelin types. So because they did like the vanishing teleports. Yeah, I mean, it's just
Javelin with stun gun still gives me nightmares. Still
yeah,
to
but
this day.
yeah, but now I play glaive with stun, and now I just have higher defense. But yeah, you know, there's certain weapons in there that are just so iconic for what I'll roll like every time I get in there. And then, you know, we've done some pretty fun things too, like
Yes, we have.
we've done like the I forgot what we called it. It was like the elimination run, and it's like I couldn't use certain weapons after already using them, so I had to utilize the entire arsenal. And
I
you
remember
know,
we did basically a randomizer Nuzlocke. We
yeah,
randomized your bodies and parts and everything for every fight you did, and then if you lost, those parts were gone.
yeah, and I thought that was really cool.
It really
Oh,
pushed you to become a better custom robo player.
yeah, I mean, honestly, because you know, I can pick the same things all day long once I unlock them, but it's like utilizing all the other things, especially like not even touching the illegal weapons, because in certain areas you unlock what's called an illegal weapon because it's not tournament legal for what they do in the game. Um, but yeah, I think that was a great way to make me a better custom robo player and sort of adapt to uh what is handed to me. Kind of gives me that Yusei Fudo feel because I love that character so much, and taking junk and making it great.
You
Um,
definitely had those like Yusei Fudo moments when you're using like the triple shot, where it is like the
yeah,
3 spread. You use that a lot to win a lot of games.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I could probably gush about every inch of custom robo, from character designs to the overworld map, to the gameplay itself, to the different mechanics within the gameplay. The fact that after you save the world, there's an entirely second post campaign, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's so
Like
fun.
I loved that. It was like you beat the main story, you save the world, you learn about your missing dad, and then it's like, okay, cool, I did it. Roll credits, won the game. What's this? Grand tournament mode. What is that? And you click on it, and it's a whole nother campaign, and it's insane. And
Like, and let's not forget that the game allows you to get a game over towards the end of the game by saying no
it's
to Harry a bunch.
It's true. You could just keep saying no, I don't want to go stop Ryu, and then the world explodes.
Yeah, very unique to a lot of games. You can get a game over through text box.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Oh, but yeah, Custom
Custom Robo
Robo.
is so good.
It was so, and like early 2000s was me in my developmental stages. Because born in 92, so 8 years old would be 2000. I believe that game came out in like 2003, so I was 10 years old. I was ready to go on a Pokemon journey,
Mm-hmm.
and Custom Robo was my Pokemon journey.
It absolutely
Like
was.
I'm in my developmental, what am I going to start liking, what kind of video games am I into, and Custom Robo hit hard, and it stuck,
Hard.
with me. And the GameCube in general has stuck with me. Like, there's so many amazing games that I would have never played before, but I just picked them up randomly on GameCube, and now I love them. Like Bloody Roar, Primal
Oh,
Fury. Like,
so good. My
yeah,
friend Danica is so jealous that we have that game. She loves Bloody Roar.
yeah. It's like we've never heard of this game before. Apparently, there were a bunch of titles beforehand, but we pick up Primal Fury, and we're like, wow, this game is awesome. Come to find out, it's like the fourth one.
Fourth,
Like,
and
oh,
I believe the last one that came out.
it
It
was
was either that or the PlayStation 2 one.
I don't know honestly, but yeah, GameCube was definitely my developmental, what kind of video game player am I going to be, where I was playing a lot of different things. And yeah, Custom Robo hit hard, and it's stuck ever since, and it's one of those games that I I physically have to go through once a year because of how good it makes me feel. And I love showing Custom Robo to people who have never seen it before. Like what, I've got it. I love showing Custom Robo to my son right now. Like, it's amazing. And all the different characters and body modifications that he wants to use on his robo. Uh, there's guys from work that have never heard of it before, and I show it to them, and they're like, "Wow, where was I when this came out?" So it's just one of those games that brings me pure joy and genuine happiness anytime that it's on. You know, even though there's some fights that I can get frustrated on,
Oh
not so
yeah.
much anymore because I pretty much know the game in and out and what builds to do. But even still, like I can't help but be happy when I play that game, and that's absolutely why it deserves to be in the spot that it's in right now at number 2.
No, Custom Robo is freaking amazing. it got re-release at least. Can we get a re-release in an eShop?
Yeah, there you go.
Please. So before we get to number one with our top picks, we had both had some honorable mentions. I know you said you had like 5 honorable mentions.
Yeah, I got 5 of them.
And I have 3 because my honorable mentions were literally 10 minutes before we started this recording.
Yeah, yeah, and then I hit him with the, oh yeah, I don't have a list. Just keep going.
Yeah, I know, and he made me almost stop it, as we've seen. So how do you want to do these honorable mentions? Do you want to mention them all at once? Do you want to go one by one again?
You can go one by one and just like if there's stuff you want to talk about with it, then go for it. If it's
Yeah.
just like yeah, this one because I like this, and then you move on. That's
Yeah.
totally up to you.
Yeah, we'll do that. Then we'll go one by one. I'll start with a PSP classic that I brought along with me everywhere for the longest time, and I think it is the biggest reason I kept up with Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's Tag Force 2.
Garbage. No, it's actually a phenomenal game. Sorry, just go.
It is one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh games of all time.
It is.
I don't think it changed me as a gamer, considering it just made me love Yu-Gi-Oh even more than it already did. But it is the Yu-Gi-Oh game I spent the most time with. I almost put Eternal Duelist Soul.
Good game. Good game.
Great game, but Tag Force 2, I remember bringing that up to the lake house and just saying, I don't even want to go on the boat. I'm going to sit here and play Tag Force 2. I'm going to try to build an alien deck because you suggested it to me. I couldn't figure it out, so I just built a Earth Beatdown deck.
Good stuff.
And it just holds a lot of that nostalgic factor for me, but I don't think it changed my life. I think it just kept the love going.
Oh yeah, it was just one of those things that you're already into this hobby, and this game was just really fun.
Yeah. If you want to go ahead with yours next.
So I guess my first honorable mention is Monster Hunter 3.
I almost put that.
Yeah, I mean it was our first Monster Hunter game. I honestly don't remember how we decided to pick the game up. I remember we. Oh, you actually remember?
Yeah, we watched Pro Jared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were. It was around the time when a little bit before Monster Hunter 4 was announced. We decided to watch Pro Jared's video on Monster Hunter's like guide at the start, and we were just enthralled with this universe. Like, what? We get to fight big, huge monsters? That sounds awesome!
Yeah.
And then we picked it up and we loved the game. I think also Game Grumps and PBG played the game as well, so that kind of helped us.
Yeah,
Be like, all right, let's buy this. Let's try this out.
Yeah, I remember like we both had our Wii U's, and it was just like, yeah, let's give this Monster Hunter game a try, and we ended up falling in love with it and putting several hundreds of hours into Monster Hunter 3, and still never getting to Elatrian.
We don't need to. We beat the Brachydios as the final boss.
We did finally do that after how many years of other Monster Hunter games being out.
That victory felt it felt so good. Being able to we had so many tries on the Brachydios. We were trying to get his every millimove.
Oh yeah.
Every frame of animation.
Yeah. So I definitely wouldn't say it's a life-changing game. I mean, it's a game that gave us a whole new line of games to play. Like we still play all the latest Monster Hunter games now, and I love Monster Hunter. It's one of my favorite franchises. But it definitely hasn't been a game or a life-changing or made me who I am kind of game or kind of gamer. So yeah, that's my first honorable mention.
My second honorable mention, to continue on, is Fire Emblem Awakening.
Okay.
I wasn't big on Fire Emblem. I really wasn't. I thought, tactical RPG, that sounds boring as hell. I don't really care for that. I don't really care for RPGs in general. Why would I care about this tactical one? This fucking game absorbed my life.
Yeah.
I mean, just the story, the romance that you could do, the characters that you were introduced to. I didn't know a game could have so many goddamn characters, so fleshed out and fun that I wanted to explore them all. And Awakening did that for me. It awakened me to how much fun Fire Emblem was, and I've almost bought every Fire Emblem after. I bought Shadows of or Echoes of whatever. I bought Fire Emblem Fates, which apparently everyone hated. I almost put as much hours as I did in Awakening into Fates.
Oh
But
wow.
oh my god! I mean, well, the good thing is like it's 3 games for Fates, but I put so many hours into those games,
Yeah.
and Awakening just made me fall in love with this franchise that I like respected. I was like, yeah, the Game Boy one's cool, but I was never into it. Into a franchise where I'm like, I want to play every game. I still haven't played Three Houses. I still don't want to, but eventually I will.
Yeah.
Um, but it didn't change my life, but it definitely became something I wasn't aware of and became a little more lenient with like RPGs in general. And tactical RPGs are one of my favorite things now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of different TAC RPGs that you play now.
Oh yeah, they're so fun. I can't wait for Advance Wars.
Yeah. Good times.
If you'd like to name your next one.
Sure. My next honorable mention is a game that that took us a while to get to work on the computer. We actually had to have, I believe it was Uncle Larry had to work on our computer to get it to work. But Dawn of War. Um,
Ah,
yeah.
yes.
All of them, all the Dawn of Wars,
All
the
of them.
original. Yeah, I mean, like Dawn of War 2 and all of the Dawn of War 2 expansions are cool, but yeah, specifically Dawn of War 1 to Dawn of War Soulstorm, like all of those Dawn of War games.
So good.
Yeah, good games. I never played StarCraft, uh, and still to this day I've never played StarCraft. And I actually played Dawn of War before I played Warcraft, uh, like the original Warcraft games. And so, I mean, honestly, that means Dawn of War is like my first RTS game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because I'm in love with the Warhammer universe, it was an easy pick. I love Warhammer. I love the RTS style of game for it. I think they did a great job with when it comes to uh, like capturing command posts and critical locations and all of the sort of micromanaging that you have to do on top of marching your army into your enemy. So yeah, I, I just think good game. Uh, Not life changing because I mean technically Warhammer itself would be the life changing part of it, but I
Yeah.
was playing the tabletop game before Dawn of War, so
It's
uh,
almost in the sense of how I like Tag Force. It just reinforced how much you love something.
yeah, exactly, and how I want to like get deeper into certain lore and it makes me appreciate some voice actors for some of the cutscenes.
Can we take a step back and appreciate Space Marine and Fire Warrior?
Good games,
Such
great
good fucking game.
great games. I actually just recommended Space Marine to my supervisor like last week.
Love it.
Yeah,
Can we get a re-release of Fire Warrior? Because I love that game a lot.
I do too. I would love to get an HD version of that game.
That'd be so cool. Um, I know you have 5, so I'm gonna let you go again with another.
Okay. Um. So, also having war in its name, this is actually another one of my favorite. I actually used to rank this as like my second favorite game franchise of all time when it comes to console gaming, and that's God of War. Um,
Oh, I was surprised that didn't make it.
yeah, it didn't make it onto the list. God of War 1 through Ascension, all of those games are amazing. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the combat, the upgrading systems, just the combos. It was definitely because I wasn't playing Devil May Cry, and you could probably compare God of War and Devil May Cry. Like they're very
Oh,
very
absolutely.
similar. very similar games. Two different, you know, two different genres. Or not genres. That's not the word I want. Two different worlds. You know, one is working with the Greek pantheon. The other one is working with technically Christianity.
Yeah,
But
basically.
but yeah, I mean, like I would probably put the Devil May Cry series and God of War in the same. Like that would be my tie for honorable mention tie would be Devil May Cry series and God of War series. I'm not including the newer God of War because I haven't played it and I have no desire to play it because I just don't care.
That's
So
and that's fair. It's such a big shift from the original God of War gameplay style,
it is.
and
It is.
again, it does suck because it's all Nordic and
Yeah, you know, it's just hard, and I'm not trying to like be like, oh, I don't like when mediums use my faith or whatever, but it's like, you know, I tend to stay away from certain media and games and movies and stuff that don't necessarily get that stuff right, and it's more of just a for accuracy's sake as for somebody who actually has those beliefs. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's the same reason why, like, you know, like a good Catholic person wouldn't go and play like Devil May Cry
Right, I
or
get you.
something like that. You know, it's just it has nothing. You know, if other people are having fun with it, awesome. I'm sure it's an amazing game. I'm just not going to play it. You know,
That's fair.
I'll, I'll wipe the floor with the Greek Pantheon all day long. You know, in the
Yeah, no,
original ones, but
screw Zeus, man. Like, I'd kill him.
yeah, yeah. But I'm not gonna go take the heads of, you know, somebody that I think did nothing wrong. So
um,
yeah, that
yeah, God of War franchise. I want to watch you go through those games again.
absolutely. I would love to go through them again. I own all of them, minus the new
Yeah,
ones. I even
the
have
original God of War.
yeah, and I even have the PSP versions too.
I gotta go watch you go through those again because I was watching a freaking critical go through the game at like a 20 minute video of just like highlights of it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
God, this is something like this is such a cool game.
yeah. I mean, if you ever like we could probably talk about it at another time, but like figure out how I can set up my like not motion capture, but
The
essentially
game capture.
the game capture. Yeah, set up a game capture, and I will most definitely go through every single God of War that I that I own.
Love it. I'll name my last one, and then you'll have one more, right?
Yes.
All right. So I'll name my last honorable mention before we get to number one,
Oh
and
wait, I have two more. Sorry.
that's fine. I'll name mine, then you'll name your two more.
Sure.
Just to get my last one out of the way here. I This one didn't change my life, but it definitely holds most of my memories. And that's the Smash Brothers franchise.
Good games.
Um, I still to this day remember Melee. We are not competitive Smash players. When we played Melee, I was sitting there. I didn't know what the A button did. I was spamming B because that had the big move that did the big thing. I don't want to punch someone. I want to shoot a fireball as Mario.
True.
And when we went on Temple, it was chaotic and fun. When Brawl came out, we had so much fun with Brawl.
Yeah.
I think the most memories I have with Smash are with Smash 4 with Wii U.
My most of my Smash memories are Melee.
And maybe it's because my memory is a little fuzzy
Well,
with Melee.
well, and that's also like we were all really young because you got to remember that was GameCube, so I was 10 and you were
Yeah.
6. Yeah,
So yeah,
I was 10, you were 6. That's a big gap.
big gap. But I had a lot of fun with Smash 4. Smash 4 is where I actually started to like learn how to play the game better. We had epic fights with our. Oh no, that was Brawl when we did Falco and Mario, right?
Yes.
Yeah, those were really fun. But in Smash 4, we had. I remember I started learning Robin a lot. Again, Awakening, big fan.
Yeah,
um,
that was where we had our Robin Zelda fights.
yep. And it was just. It was really fun. It never got. Like, it held our attention for, like, a whole year when that stuff came out. We would just. It would always be something we could just jump in and do.
Yeah.
On top of stuff like Dark Legacy.
Yep. Yep.
Love Gauntlet. Should have been on here, but I forgot about it at the time.
Just add it in like I did Devil May Cry.
Yeah, no, it's Gauntlet. Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Great game. But yeah, Smash Brothers didn't change my life, but it was always a game we could count to play on and have fun with. And it was always because we had 3 people and someone would get ganged up on.
Yep, pretty much.
I will let you go ahead and name your last 2.
All right, they'll be really quick. This next one I put on here, again, not a life changer. It didn't make me who I am, but it did introduce me to a genre of game that I still play today, just not specifically that one. League of Legends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I played League of Legends. I started playing it back in season 2. So, like, 8 years ago.
Freaking
like,
dinosaur over here.
Yeah, like 8 or 9 years ago, I was playing, no, it had to be 8 years ago. But yeah, anyway, that's when I was playing League of Legends. And that's when I got hardcore into League of Legends. Like, I had a competitive threes team back when they had the threes map. I was starting to learn important, like the importance of your roles and what lane you were going to, when you should gank, when you should dragon, when you should baron, all that. All that stuff I got really into. And and I had fun with what it was, but I started straying away from League of Legends and trying out other MOBAs like Smite and Heroes of the Storm, and I believe there was like the Adventure Time MOBA that they had.
Oh, I miss Battle Party.
Yeah, oh god, that was such a great game.
We just stomped kids. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, like League of Legends, I don't play it as much anymore, pretty much at all. I don't play it, but I do play a lot of Smite. I do play a lot of Heroes of the Storm, and I wouldn't be playing those if it wasn't for League of Legends.
I love that. I was playing Smite in the beta, and I remember you guys were like giving me shit about it at first.
Yeah, we did.
You guys was like, God, this game looks dumb. This isn't gonna do anything. It's not going anywhere. And look at us now. We're all playing Smite, and it's great. Yeah. It's a great game.
It's a Smite day.
It's a Smite day.
And then my last honorable mention is another line of games from the same genre, but Pokemon's Yellow all the way to Platinum.
Great games.
Yeah, there's a huge chunk of my childhood from Yellow version all the way to Platinum. Like that was my entire exposure to Pokemon, not just with the cards, but also with those games and the anime and the conventions and stuff like that. So yeah, like that Pokemon obviously has a huge part in a lot of our lives, especially our generation. So to say that it changed my life, I can't really say that, because everybody is a Pokemon fan.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just specifically the games that changed my life. Like I could say Pokemon changed my life, but that's an interest thing, not necessarily a video game that's done that for me, because it was the anime and it was the card game and the video games. So that's why I couldn't put it on the list, because it was just so vague or broad. Broad is the word I was looking for. So yeah, Pokemon Yellow through Platinum, good games.
Agreed. They're such good games.
Yeah.
But that's all of our honorable mentions, and we are going to go to our number 1 picks for games that changed our lives and made us the gamers we are.
The number 1 games that basically are our identities.
Yeah. Did you want to go first for this one, or did you want me to?
No, you can go. That's fine.
So it's actually very much related to something you had said. Because my number one pick is Pokemon.
Okay.
If you ask me to pick a specific game, I'll choose the one I have the most memories with, and that's Pokemon Platinum. But in reality, it is every Pokemon game that has come out. Pokemon, to me, started off as something fun. It was all the way from Pokemon Red and Blue, all the way up until Platinum. It was something fun to do. We had a lot of great things we did together. My favorite memory of Pokemon that I have was us staying up for almost 24 hours, action replaying Pokemon into our team in Platinum, and booting them up on Battle Revolution to fight each other, making gyms because we thought it'd be fun.
It was fun. That was a
And
good time.
I hold that so dear. And it wasn't until Gen 6, because I had skipped Gen 5 at the time, that I started really getting into competitive battling. This game, like Punch-Out, but Punch-Out came after this, I wanted to just be really good at. I learned mechanics that are hidden in the game. That most mechanics in Pokemon are not explained.
Right.
I learned this game, and it has helped me connect with people. I still find new people playing these games, whether in a casual or competitive scene. I've done so many Nuzlocks. I've streamed my first one Nuzlocke with Pokemon Yellow, that I have downloaded on my computer.
Nice.
Pokemon to me, from Red all the way till now, because I'm gonna be buying the new Pokemon games.
Of course.
This franchise has always been there. It's
Yeah.
always something I can go back to. It's always something I can talk about with people. Because whether you're a casual Pokemon fan or you're a hardcore Pokemon fan, you always can talk about it with someone. It's been the
Yeah.
most community-driven franchise I've always had with me. And no other franchise of games has done that for me. I could talk about how amazing the art style is of all the games, the beautiful sprite work, and honestly, a lot of the landscapes of the current games. I could talk about the absolute legendary, untopped music of Pokemon, but I think all that's mostly obvious.
Yeah.
Pokemon is the game that defines me, not only as a gamer, but it has a large chunk of me as a person in it.
Yeah.
And
Well
and
spoken.
and understand that it's different for a lot of us. With you, it was the franchise, like it was all encompassing of Pokemon. And while I could certainly say that about myself, I still very much like the anime, and I really did like the card game. The video games always spoke that different language to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that is my number one. It was going to be World of Warcraft RuneScape, but I looked at Pokemon and said, I can't not put this as number one.
Yeah.
Not when I have a wall of the TCG on me, not when I've played every game. I still emulate the Game Boy games. I bought an $80 Fire Red that I technically got for free, but it was $80 because I love the franchise that much that playing it on an emulator wasn't good enough for me. I needed to play the physical copy on a Game Boy Advance.
Hey man, I get that. I totally get that.
And I imagine Pokemon's gonna be with me till the day I freaking die.
Yeah.
It's always a game I can. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say probably it will be there till you die.
Yeah, and probably will be there after.
Yeah.
But it's always a game I can come back to. I can come back to Platinum, Emerald, Fire Red, Red, Blue, Gold, Silver, Black, and White, which I've recently discovered are some of my favorite Pokemon games of all time. I can always come back to these games, whether for a 2-day run and then I'll move to something else, or for a month-long experience that I need to do.
Right.
But that's my number one. I think I spent more time on Skyrim or WWE than I did on Pokemon, but Pokemon seems like such an obvious choice to a lot of people that I don't feel like I need to explain why it changed me and defines me as a gamer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you were still you were well spoken on like why it is what it is for you. So I don't have any complaints.
I would like to hear about yours though. What is your number one? Because I'm drawing a blank if it's not World of Warcraft.
So no, my number one is similar to how you had worded it with Pokemon is like this. It truly defines everything that I look for in a video game, and it could be, you know, from the smallest minute detail of a pixel to the broad scape of the story, you
Clash
know.
Royale.
And yeah. And you know, I'm not like a professional writer or anything like that. I don't write books. I write down random stuff in my brain, and I do Dungeons and Dragons. So, but I I like a good story, and you know, picture me. It's 2004 in October, and after just watching a South Park episode that had something to do with this game that I'd never heard of called World of Warcraft. And, you know, I'm just like, wow. First off, I probably shouldn't be watching this show because I am but a wee lad.
What a wee
And
lad.
I am but a wee lad watching this show, but I can't take my eyes off of this weird animation. It's so crazy. There's like these 3D models, and apparently this is a real video game that you can play. And you know, you convince your mom to buy this game for you and install it on our relatively not great computer at the
It's
time.
not great. Oh my god.
And the rest is history, man. Like for me, my number one game of all time, and it is specifically to vanilla World of Warcraft to Cataclysm. The old world, you
Yeah.
know, like before any of the revamps to anything, like vanilla to Cataclysm, World of Warcraft is the defining factors of my character, of who I am as a gamer. You know, it's a story written out on its own. Like, yeah, World of Warcraft has its vast world with characters that span, you know, existence, but my character has been there for it all. I mean,
Oh yeah.
from the start of vanilla stuff, I created this warlock, and this warlock had gone from 2004 to 2013, you know, when Cataclysm was out, you know, 2012, 2013, around that area.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I had gone on so many solo adventures of my own, discovering how to play this game and discovering this vast world. I had my one of my best friends tag along with me and level these characters up together, and we basically went through every expansion together. I had you come in with me as you started growing up and, you know, becoming a young gamer yourself. You know, as we started playing World of Warcraft together, going to like Cyber Arena at the mall so that we could play
Yes.
together.
Drinking gamer fuel that we bought there, by the way.
Yeah, drinking the gamer fuel. Um, you know, it's just, there's so many fond memories and adventures going with, like, by myself, being with friends, um, and just spanning this massive world that I was able to be a part of as it was ever changing, and the things that I got to do and the people that I got to meet, you know, and the guilds that I've been a part of. I've been a part of 3 major guilds in the span of vanilla to Cataclysm. You know, like I was in, I mean, even technically in Mists of Pandaria, I was in a 4th one.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I had one casual guild with the League of Dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and then I also had Panda Express, which was my PvP guild. And then I had oh jeez. I I can't remember what the original guild was called because we actually merged. We had a guild merger,
Mm-hmm.
but I wish I could remember what it was, but my warlock's not in it anymore because that guild disbanded. But there was a guild that I was a part of with the warlock, and he did all of his raiding for Wrath of the Lich King going on in there. He did or I did raiding. I actually did raid healing uh in Cataclysm.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that with my shaman, and that was with the Panda Express Guild. And it's just these people that I got to meet and talk with, especially like after I had graduated high school. I had so much extra time to just log in and play the game and talk to these people like I was seeing them every day.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just I can't. And I like to think I'm somebody who's relatively good with his words when the time is right or when it becomes necessary to try to explain myself or my feelings on something.
Mm-hmm.
But World of Warcraft is something that I can't, with all of my being, put into words on how important it is to me and that and who I am. You know, I have other hobbies. I have Warhammer. I have, I used to play a lot of sports when I was young. I have Dungeons and Dragons now. But if I ever stopped playing World of Warcraft, I would lose basically a part of my soul. Like it's ingrained in my DNA. It's ingrained in my psyche. Like if I were to be if my spirit was to be shattered into pieces, you would have the different pieces of me of who I am, and one of those is going to be Blizzard Entertainment's World of Warcraft. And I can't live without it. And it's not that it's an obsession. It's because it's made me who I am as a gamer today. It's made me who I am as somebody who's confident to talk to people, just random strangers, confident in strategy making and problem solving, whether it be on my own and with my friends. It's made me love like lore. It makes me love characters and watching them go and develop from, 10 years span of time. And that just it can't be replicated by any other game that I know of. And I think if I think if World of Warcraft or Blizzard were to shut the WoW servers down, I would have to find a private server to play on
Yeah.
because I can't not be without it. And even and the world is so vast that you can't necessarily do everything in World of Warcraft in the span of your lifetime because there's so much to do and so many different combos and things to unlock and find and do uh that isn't just necessarily busy work, but it's also like achievements and things like that. And yeah, that to simply put it in the most unelegant way, because like I said, I can't find words to describe it, but I am World of Warcraft and World of Warcraft is me, and we can't be separated. It's impossible. So
That's well
that
spoken.
is, thank you. That is my number one game that has made me who I am.
And it's hard not to choose World of Warcraft because
Yeah.
I that game you would kick me off the computer when you said you give me a turn just to play WoW again.
Yeah.
For context, guys, we had that one computer he mentioned when he first installed it, and he was like, "Hey, Alex, you should give this a try." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, I'll give it a try because I'm young and stupid." And I make this mage, and I'm like, "Wow, this is really fun." And then he goes, "Hey, Alex, get off! I'm gonna get on with box." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll play another time." I only played for 20 minutes and you played for 2 hours, but whatever.
Yeah. And then another time never came until we got another computer.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah, World of Warcraft. God, it's we were just playing it not too long ago. Like
yeah, we were. We were
because it
doing
just
some BC Classic.
it's just so natural to us, and
It
I
is.
love that it has that effect where we don't know what to do. Well, shit, let's level some characters on WoW. We can shoot the shit while we do it. Like it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you can just you get on and you know what you're gonna do. Or even if it's just leveling up a character or doing a dumb achievement or doing a transmog run, like there's or pet battling or raiding or dungeons or PvP. Like there's so many things to do. You can just go around collecting lore, which
You
I've
can.
done. I have a mount because I've done that.
It's true. He does. And I think that's one of the best benefits of World of Warcraft. And like I said when I explained it, WoW too, more people need to be playing this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think people need to stop listening to media on what they should and shouldn't like and listen to people who are passionate about this amazing product that this company has given us. And I get that there's sketchy practices and dumb microtransaction pay to win stuff, but no company is free of that. There's no multi-million slash billion-dollar company that hasn't done some sketchy stuff.
Yeah.
Like and like people would tell me all the time how, and when I say people, I mean maybe like four guys that don't play World of Warcraft but play League of Legends, and they'll be like, "Oh, Riot Entertainment, they don't do stuff like this." And then what was it like last year? We just found out that Riot had a bunch of like lawsuits against them for sexual assault at in the workplace and abuse and things like that. So it's just like
Mm-hmm.
don't give me the whole, oh well, this company doesn't do that, because they do. And it's not the company's fault. It's the individual that's doing the bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to separate the art from the artist. And that's what you have, and that's what people who are passionate about World of Warcraft do. I get that there's a bump in the road here, or there's an issue with the game here, and it's like, hey, can you address this? I want to do this, or could you maybe fix it to do this? Or there's something going on internally. There's somebody being a douche. Let's all just not, say that this game is bad because a douchebag works there. No, we say that guy sucks, but at least this game is still good.
It all comes down to gatekeeping, and it don't let people gatekeep you from World of Warcraft. It is an experience you will treasure for years to come, as you can clearly see with my brother.
Yeah, it's something that you won't you can't miss out on what's waiting for you. So go get it.
There's a free trial at level 20. So
Yeah. And refer a friend. I can get another mount.
yeah, if you plan on playing, we'll drop our referral codes down if you want. I mean,
Yeah, I love free stuff.
but with that, I think that will wrap up our Blizz Bizz. We have been going on for about 2 hours here.
That's I think we got through everything. I actually think this is probably my favorite episode.
It's wholesome.
I get, like episode 1 was kind of getting to know us.
Yeah.
But I think now that I think we're what, 6 episodes in now, or 5?
Yeah, I think it might
5.
be. It might be 5. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like 5 episodes in now, and we've shared things before, but I think this one hits close to home, because it's like it's not just necessarily getting to know us, but exactly why we are the way that we are when it comes to our video games and our opinions on video games. So I think this was not only important, but I also think it was fun and, like you said, wholesome to
It
just talk about the good times.
and I feel like a lot more people need to do that. We just need to talk about good things for once happening around us.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with more good news.
And I'd like to do that whenever we get to the next episode with maybe we'll do a retrospective because it's good to go through the history of something and kind of appreciate all there is about it. Because there's a lot of the times those retrospectives will end on a good note.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I'm sure we'll sort of devolve back to our sort of interview style on the next one. This one was just more of a, hey, I like this thing. Oh, you like that thing? Well, I like this thing.
And let us know in the comments about if you like this style more, the interview style more, of what you want to see more from us. Because I'm sure we're gonna take another 6 month break.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to wait for some more free time again. But hey, at least it means that we'll have a even longer list of things to try to pick from.
Exactly, because I still have the list, and a lot of it is just probably not going to be talked about. But with that, do you have any final words, Chris?
Avocado.
Thank you, everyone. We will see you next time on Blizz Bizz.
Peace.